Welcome back to Broadcasting Seeds, the show where we take a shovel to the fertile soil of the weird, the wild, and the downright mysterious. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton, and today we're diving into the deep end of the scientific pool, exploring one of humanity's most ambitious, and some would say most dangerous projects, Hadron Colliders. Now, if you've never heard of these colossal machines, don't worry, you're not alone. Picture a giant underground racetrack, but instead of cars, it's particles smaller than the atoms in your body. And instead of a trophy at the end, scientists are hoping to unlock the secrets of the universe or accidentally summon a black hole. Either way, it's a wild ride. Here's the deal. Hadron Colliders are scientific marvels that smash particles together at mind-bending speeds to recreate conditions just after the Big Bang. Sounds like a bad idea? Maybe. They've helped us make incredible discoveries like the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle. But they've also sparked countless conspiracy theories, fears, and questions about what's really going on beneath the surface. Is this just science on steroids, or is there something more? Something darker? In today's episode, we'll break down what Hadron Colliders really do, dig into the wildest theories about them, and ask the big question: should we be excited or worried about the secrets they're unlocking? Stick around, because by the end of this episode, you'll either be in awe of human ingenuity or you'll be Googling how far you live from the nearest collider. Spoiler alert, it's probably closer than you think. Let's get into it. Start by breaking down the basics of what Hadron Colliders are and why they exist. Imagine you're at a demolition derby, but instead of cars slamming into each other, it's subatomic particles. Things so small, you'd need a microscope the size of a skyscraper just to see them. That's the essence of what a Hadron Collider does. It smashes particles like protons or heavy ions together at nearly the speed of light. The goal? To see what falls out of the wreckage. This is no ordinary backyard experiment, folks. These machines are marvels of human engineering. The most famous of them all is the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, operated by CERN, an acronym for some very fancy French words that basically mean European Organization for Nuclear Research. Now, the LHC isn't just a science experiment, it's a behemoth. It's a 17-mile-long circular tunnel buried beneath the French-Swiss border. Inside, particles race around this track at such insane speeds that if you're not careful, just thinking about it might give you motion sickness. The LHC operates in a vacuum, meaning no air, no resistance, just pure unadulterated acceleration. Powerful magnets guide the particles along their paths, bending and shaping their trajectories until they're on a head-on collision course. The energy released in these collisions is astronomical. In fact, it's the closest we've come to recreating the conditions of the universe just moments after the Big Bang. But what do scientists actually do with these collisions? They study the debris, looking for new particles, testing theories about how the universe works, and trying to confirm the existence of things like dark matter and extra dimensions. Think of it like smashing a watch to see how the gears fit together, except the watch is the universe, and the gears are its fundamental building blocks. Now, if you're thinking, that sounds expensive, you're absolutely right. The LHC alone cost about $4.75 billion to build, and its annual operating budget is around $1 billion. For that kind of money, you could buy every NFL team and still have enough left over to build a pretty impressive theme park. But hey, can you really put a price on unlocking the secrets of the cosmos? Maybe you can, but nobody asked us. Here's the kicker. These machines have already paid off in spades. Back in 2012, the LHC confirmed the existence of the Higgs boson, the so-called God particle. Why is it called that? Because it's believed to give other particles mass, which is kind of a big deal. No mass, no stars, no planets, no you, no me. Game over. But for all their accomplishments, Hadron Colliders aren't without controversy. And as we'll see in the next section, they've sparked some pretty wild theories. Hold on to your tinfoil hats, folks. Things are about to get weird. All right, we've talked about what Hadron Colliders actually do, but now let's step into the shadowy realm of what some people think they do. Because when you build a massive underground machine capable of recreating the Big Bang, you're bound to stir up some imaginations and some paranoia. First up, black holes. Yep, one of the most persistent fears is that colliders, like the LHC, could accidentally create a black hole right here on Earth. The idea is that when particles collide at such high energies, the resulting gravitational forces could be strong enough to compress matter into an infinitely dense point, a black hole. Now, most scientists will tell you this is nonsense, that any black hole created would be microscopic and evaporate almost instantly. But here's where it gets interesting. What if they're wrong? Sure, the chances are slim, but people can't help wondering what happens if one of these tiny black holes decides to stick around, gobbling up the Earth piece by piece like some cosmic Pac-Man. Then there's the theory that Hadron Colliders could rip a hole in the fabric of space-time. If you've ever seen a sci-fi movie, you know where this is going. Alternate dimensions, parallel universes, maybe even a doorway for something unwelcome to come through. Think Stranger Things, but with less bike riding and more equations. And speaking of unwelcome visitors, let's not forget the rumors about CERN dabbling in occult practices. Yep, this is where things take a sharp left turn into Conspiracyville. And that brings us to a certain statue sitting right outside CERN's headquarters, Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. Pause for effect with a wry tone. You can't make this stuff up. Here's the deal. In 2004, a statue of Shiva performing the Tandava, or cosmic dance of destruction, was gifted to CERN by the Indian government as a symbol of the relationship between science and spirituality. But some folks took one look at Shiva's multi-armed pose and thought, this isn't science, this is a summoning circle. Now, to be fair, CERN has denied any involvement in occult activities. They've said the statue is just a nod to the idea of destruction and creation being two sides of the same coin. But if you're already inclined to see colliders as gateways to alternate realities, a giant statue of the destroyer god isn't exactly reassuring. And then there's the famous Dance of Destruction video. Back in 2016, a prank video surfaced showing what appeared to be a mock human sacrifice in front of the Shiva statue. CERN later clarified that it was staged by employees and not authorized, but by then, the internet had already exploded with theories about secret rituals and shadowy cabals. Look, I'm not saying CERN is trying to summon demons or open a portal to another dimension, but I'm also not saying it. The truth is the LHC and other colliders are ripe for speculation because they deal with forces most of us can't even begin to understand. Throw in a few cryptic symbols, some poorly explained science, and a sprinkle of government secrecy, and you've got a recipe for conspiracy gold. But let's not stop here. In the next section, we'll peel back the layers of these theories and see if there's any actual evidence to back them up, or if it's all just a case of our imaginations running wild. Spoiler, it might be a little bit of both. All right, we've waded through the murky waters of conspiracy theories. Now let's zoom back out and talk about what CERN and its massive collider are actually doing. Because, let's be honest, sometimes the truth is just as fascinating as the theories, even if it doesn't involve summoning interdimensional beings. At its core, CERN is about answering some of the most profound questions in physics. Questions like, what is the universe made of? How did it start? Why does it exist at all? Light, casual dinner table topics. One of the biggest mysteries they're tackling is dark matter. Now, you've probably heard this term before. It's that mysterious stuff that makes up about 27% of the universe. The kicker? Scientists have no idea what it actually is. All they know is that it's invisible. It doesn't emit or absorb light, and it seems to have a huge impact on the structure of the cosmos. It's like the ghost that rearranges your furniture when you're not looking, except on a galactic scale. Then there's antimatter, another mind bender. Antimatter is the opposite of regular matter. When the two meet, they annihilate each other in a burst of energy. Scientists believe there should have been equal amounts of matter and antimatter created during the Big Bang. But for some reason, matter won out. Why? Nobody knows. CERN is trying to find out because the answer could unlock secrets about the very nature of existence. But here's where things get really wild. The idea of extra dimensions. The standard model of physics, the framework that explains how particles and forces interact, works great, but it's incomplete. There are gaps in our understanding, and one possibility is that those gaps exist because there are other dimensions beyond the three spatial ones we can perceive. Think about that. Extra dimensions. Right now, you could be surrounded by unseen dimensions, like a goldfish in a bowl who has no idea there's a whole world outside the water. The LHC is one of the few tools capable of testing these theories. By smashing particles together at unimaginable speeds, it creates conditions so extreme they might reveal evidence of these hidden dimensions, or at least help us better understand why they're so hard to find. And of course, we can't forget the Higgs boson, discovered at CERN in 2012. This elusive particle helps explain why matter has mass, and confirming its existence was a monumental achievement. Some scientists even called it the missing piece of the standard model. Although, let's be real, when they call it the God particle, it's like physics' version of clickbait. The bottom line? CERN's work has the potential to fundamentally reshape our understanding of the universe. But, and this is a big but, there's always a gap between what scientists say they're doing and what some people think they're doing. The question is, are those suspicions grounded in anything real, or are we just projecting our fears onto something we don't fully understand? In the next section, we'll explore how this disconnect plays out in society and why people are so quick to associate Hadron colliders with conspiracy, danger, and doom. Is it just the natural human fear of the unknown, or is there something more to it? Here's a question for you. Why is it that whenever humanity builds something big, powerful, and complicated, people automatically assume it's up to no good? From the pyramids to particle colliders, the pattern is clear. The bigger the mystery, the wilder the theories. It's not hard to understand why. Hadron colliders, like CERN's LHC, deal with concepts so far removed from our everyday experience that they practically beg for speculation. I mean, when someone tells you they're smashing particles at nearly the speed of light to recreate the Big Bang, it's hard not to picture a scene straight out of a sci-fi movie. Add terms like dark matter, antimatter, and extra dimensions, and you've got the perfect recipe for a mental meltdown. But here's the thing. Humans don't like not knowing. When we encounter something we don't understand, our brains instinctively try to fill in the gaps. Sometimes that means digging into the science, but other times it means leaning into our fears and suspicions. Take the Shiva statue at CERN, for example. On the surface, it's a harmless cultural symbol, a gift from India meant to celebrate the relationship between science and spirituality. But let's be honest. When you're already uneasy about giant underground machines, seeing a statue of a god nicknamed the Destroyer doesn't exactly scream comforting. And that 2016 prank video of a fake human sacrifice? Oh, that didn't help. Even though CERN officially denounced the stunt, it was too late. The idea that scientists were conducting occult rituals spread like wildfire. Never mind the fact that the people involved were just messing around, the damage was done. But it's not just statues and pranks that fuel these fears, it's secrecy. Large organizations like CERN aren't exactly known for their transparency. When most of their work takes place behind closed doors, it's easy for people to assume the worst. Add in the fact that they're funded by multiple governments, and suddenly you've got a breeding ground for theories about shadowy agendas. I mean, let's face it, when the government's involved, the conspiracy theorists practically smell blood in the water. Now let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about CERN or Hadron colliders. It's about how we, as a society, deal with progress. History is full of examples where new technology sparked fear and outrage. Electricity? People thought it would fry your brain. The internet? Some believed it would destroy civilization. And yet, here we are scrolling through memes on our smartphones like it's no big deal. The point is, fear of the unknown is part of the human condition. It's natural to feel uneasy about things we don't fully understand, especially when they involve forces as fundamental and as mysterious as the ones at work in a Hadron collider. But here's where it gets tricky. That fear isn't always irrational. After all, the stakes here are pretty high. We're talking about machines capable of manipulating the very fabric of reality. So the question becomes, where do we draw the line between healthy skepticism and outright paranoia? In the next section, we'll tackle that very question by diving into the philosophical and ethical implications of particle colliders. What responsibilities do scientists have when they're literally playing with the building blocks of the universe? And how do we, as a society, balance the risks and rewards of such monumental undertakings? Let's find out. So, here we are, at the crossroads of science and morality, curiosity and caution. When you're dealing with something as monumental as a Hadron collider, these massive machines capable of revealing the secrets of existence, you have to ask yourself, just because we can do it, does that mean we should? Let's start with the scientists. For the most part, they're just people with a passion for peeling back the layers of reality. These are the folks who spend their lives studying particles so small they make a grain of sand look like Mount Everest. Their work is inspiring, yes, but it's also deeply humbling. They're not in it for power or prestige. They're chasing questions that are as old as humanity itself. What are we? Why are we here? How does it all work? But here's where things get tricky. As much as science is about discovery, it's also about power. Knowledge is power. And when you're unlocking the mysteries of the universe, the potential for misuse is always lurking in the background. After all, the same science that brought us nuclear energy also brought us nuclear weapons. When it comes to Hadron Colliders, the stakes are incredibly high. These machines aren't just exploring theoretical physics, they're actively shaping our understanding of reality. If they find evidence of extra dimensions, for example, what does that mean for the way we view ourselves and our place in the cosmos? Could that knowledge be weaponized? Could it destabilize society? These aren't just abstract questions. They're real concerns that scientists and ethicists are grappling with. And let's not forget the potential for unintended consequences. Sure, scientists say the chances of creating a black hole or ripping a hole in the fabric of space-time are practically non-existent. But if there's even a 1 in a billion chance of something catastrophic happening, is it worth the risk? It's like playing with fire. You might only get burned once, but that's all it takes. It's also worth mentioning that we don't exactly have a great track record when it comes to thinking long term. Remember when asbestos was considered a miracle material, or when cigarettes were marketed as a health product? Yeah, hindsight isn't always our strong suit. Then there's the philosophical angle. There's an old saying, the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. What if there are some things we're just not meant to understand? What if, in our quest for answers, we end up opening doors we can't close? Some people argue that science should have limits, that there are lines we shouldn't cross, even in the name of discovery. Others say that curiosity is what makes us human, and that progress always comes with risks. So, who's right? Honestly, it's hard to say. But one thing is clear, these questions aren't going away. As technology continues to advance, we're going to face more and more situations where we have to weigh the benefits of discovery against the potential risks, and Hadron Colliders are just the beginning. So what's the takeaway here? Maybe it's that we need to approach science with a mix of wonder and caution. Maybe it's that we need to hold our scientists accountable while still giving them the freedom to explore. Or maybe it's that, as a society, we need to spend less time fearing the unknown and more time learning about it. Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, the future is coming, and it's being built in places like CERN. In the end, the real question isn't whether we should be afraid of Hadron Colliders. It's whether we're ready to face the answers they might give us. Well, there you have it. Hadron Colliders, the ultimate fusion of science, mystery, and just a dash of the unknown. We've covered a lot today, from the groundbreaking discoveries they've made to the conspiracy theories they've inspired. We've questioned whether we're pushing the limits of science too far, and we've explored what all this means for us as individuals and as a society. Here's the bottom line. Hadron Colliders are a testament to humanity's insatiable curiosity. They remind us that we're not just passengers on this spinning rock, we're explorers, builders, and dreamers. But with great power comes great responsibility, and it's up to all of us to keep asking the tough questions, to challenge the unknown, but also to respect it. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. What if the real lesson here isn't just about particles or physics? What if it's about understanding ourselves, our fears, our ambitions, and our place in the universe? At the end of the day, maybe the greatest mystery isn't out there in the cosmos. It's right here within us. All right, That's enough deep thinking for one episode. If you enjoyed today's journey into the strange and spectacular, do me a favor, like, share, and review this podcast. It might seem like a small thing, but it helps broadcasting seeds grow and reach more curious minds like yours. And hey, if you've got a theory, a question, or just want to say hi, you can find me online. Let's keep the conversation going, because the truth is the universe is a big place, and there's a lot left to uncover. Until next time, this is Bennett Tanton signing off. Stay curious, stay questioning, and remember, sometimes the answers we seek are just the seeds we need to plant.
Got bad thoughts that make my mind scared, hold me hostage and they don't fight fair. Who gon' pray for me and wipe all my tears? Who gon' save me if you not right here? Move this darkness and make my sight clear. Take me away cause I don't like here. Ghosts of my past, they filling the night air. Wake me up, I'm trapped in my nightmares. Wake me up, I'm trapped in my nightmares. Drowning, I'm off the deep end. Apparitions of all my demons. All my thoughts are committing treason. All alone, who gon' hear me screaming? Manifestations of my fears, regrets that stretched out for light years. Can almost touch the light, homie, it's right there. Body free but trapped in my nightmares. Wake me up, don't let me drown. All the lights are fading now. All my life is fading now. All my life is fading now. Wake me up, don't let me drown. All my life is fading now. All my life is fading now. Body free but trapped in my nightmares. Trapped in my nightmares.